two things people wrote on 6, which I thought were really great: inviting a guest speaker to my class, an actual person whose right to vote was taken away for some time. That's a great way to build kind of connection. The students can connect to that story a little bit more. Or also discuss drug laws in connection to disenfranchisement. That's a great way to kind of start connecting it to issues today. DC drug laws are changing, or in that conversation is happening. So that's something that you could definitely, that's a great way to do an extension on that and thinking about voting rights. And at this point in the union, I mean, this is the last thing you're doing. So our students might know that DC drug laws are hopefully changing and they won't be penalized as severely for marijuana possession. But the thing is, you might know that bit of information and recognize that that's valuable for you, but a lot of times our students don't recognize this history that has come behind it, that, you know, if you have a felony and that, then you lose your right to vote and the rights that you've been afforded from our founding documents. So this is a great way to really connect it to things that they might be familiar with. So anyway, okay, let me go ahead, and my piece is not in the PowerPoint. I'm just going to talk to you just for a minute. Another activity that we like to do and that you could utilize in your classroom are short research projects. So what I mean by that is we're talking about short, like day, maybe over 1 class period or 2 class periods, research projects where students are creating a product, a writing at the end of 1 or 2 days. It's not a term-long project, it's not anything like that, short projects. And the reason that we do these short research projects are because we want to build computer literacy skills. Like Jim was saying, the students need to be on the computer for the test. They're going to need to be on computers for jobs. So we want to build those literacy skills, how to use the computer and type, and also start doing Google searches. How do you search for things? The other reason we like to do short research projects is because it gives students an opportunity to practice gathering evidence, finding information and gathering evidence. And these short research projects also provide a good alternative to giving background information as opposed to just doing a lecture or a mini lesson. So for example, if you're getting ready to introduce Letter from the Birmingham Jail, and you don't want to give the whole context surrounding Letter from the Birmingham Jail, you don't want to do a lecture on that, what you could do is have these short research projects where you're giving each student or each group of students some information or some topic that they'll be researching related to that letter. So for example, you could give students, oh no, that's not there. So for example, you could give like maybe I would give one group the task to research letters from the clergyman, okay, related to the letter from the Birmingham jail. So your group, your task is you're going to be researching some information about letters from the clergyman. And this group is going to research the Southern Christian Leadership Conference because that's referenced in the letter. So your job as this group, that's all you're going to research. You don't actually have to do this, but that's all you're going to research is that information. And then maybe this group is going to research the laws in Birmingham at the time that this was going on. And then this group could research Martin Luther King Jr.'s civil rights activities up to this point. Then we have another group who could research Brown versus Board of Education. So that seems like, oh, that's a lot of stuff. I don't want to give a lesson that's going to go through all that stuff. I would be talking to you for days. It's going to take a really long time. That's a lot of stuff. But what we do is if I assign each of you a specific topic to research, you spend a day or 2 in class time. This is not a homework assignment. Please do not assign this as a homework assignment. Students don't have the skills at this point, and some of yours might, but a lot of ours don't, to be able to do this on their own as a homework assignment. But you give them in class time, you give them a specific topic, they research their topic, and then they share what they found, the information they found. So then they're the ones giving that background information, they're learning it, they're finding that information, and then they get to share it with others. Bonus, they get to practice public speaking, which is a good skill, so that's great too. So the other thing so that's kind of the idea behind the short research project, the reasoning behind it and why we do it. Some things to be aware of. We really don't want people to just say, research history around Birmingham jail, or the letter from the Birmingham jail. You need to be very specific about what each group is researching. We also encourage you to give them specific sites to look. So go to the National Archives and look up Brown versus Board of Education, or go to this site and look up what Martin Luther King Jr. was doing during that time. Because the issue is, we eventually want them to be able to find good sources on their own, but we need to build those skills, and we need to give them some scaffolds and some supports to be able to build those skills. And the way we do that is by telling them where to look at first and kind of talking about why those are good sources, okay? So let me go back here. So that's why we do it. That's the approach to it. Some of the pitfalls I talked about, you run into problems if you're not giving them specific enough topics and resources to go to.